If you're new here, my name is Brian.
My name is Baco.
And we're pumped that you're here. You know, one of the things that we do at the end of every night for Redeemer Youth here on Sunday nights is we take our step. You'll see that tonight if you've never seen it before, but for those of you who are familiar with it, you know that we count down, we go 3, 2, 1, step, and we take a big step forward. Well, as kind of a fun way to, I don't know, get people excited about that, whatever, we give out these stickers, these 3, 2, 1 step stickers. You can kind of see it there. And so if, when you get comfortable being here in person, we'd love to have you here. As soon as you come, check in. We're going to hook you up with a 3, 2, 1 step sticker. You can put it on your laptop, your water bottles. You can kind of put it wherever you want. So just a fun gift from us to you. But we're so glad that you're here joining us online. Baco, I have a 2-year-old and a 4-year-old, Luke and Daniel, and they just recently started telling jokes.
Right.
Now,
How's it going?
I don't know if you have like young people in your family or cousins or whatever. Little kids are terrible at telling jokes. They don't understand that it's like a setup and then a punchline and like, you know, whatever. So like my 2-year-old Luke, he understands like the concept of a knock-knock joke. So he'll go, knock, knock.
Who's there?
He'll say, Mr. Potamus.
Mr. Potamus who?
Mr. Potamus! And that's how he tells his joke. It's ridiculous. It's the worst joke, but it's hilarious. So I thought we should do a segment, Bad Jokes, with Baco and Brian.
Yeah. That sounds great.
So, Baco, I'm going to let you start. Tell us your bad joke.
What do you call a can opener that doesn't work?
A can opener that doesn't work.
A can't opener.
Oh, my God. Oh, I hate it so much.
Simple.
I hate it so much. Okay. These are 2 of my classics that are not okay. How do you make a dog sound like a cat?
I'm not sure.
You freeze it and put it through the bandsaw.
All right.
All right, give us another bad joke.
I got you. There are 3 types of people in this world. 1, people who can't count, and then there's people who can count.
I hate these jokes so much. Oh my gosh. All right. Okay. I told you how you make a dog sound like a cat.
Yep.
But how do you make a cat sound like a dog?
I think you put it through the... I'm not too sure.
You douse it in gasoline and light it on fire. Woof.
I was going to say wood chipper, but...
No, that's just messed up. That's so messed up. These are the worst kinds of jokes we're getting made fun of in the corner. Oh, I hope you've enjoyed our bad jokes. Yeah. This was unbelievable. All right. Now, Bago, we played a game last week. What was the game?
The game was called Moose Meese Moosin.
Moose Meese Moosin. And tell us again, remind us how the game works.
Well, how the game works is we just have one item or one noun or word, and we try to guess like the plural of it. So, for example, moose. Is it moose, meese, or moosin? And it is, I believe it's moose.
It's moose.
It's moose.
All right. Can I get you to come play a game, Zoe?
Of course.
All right, Zoe, hold on. Well, I literally just introduced you, but introduce yourself.
I'm Zoe.
Hello, Zoe.
This is Zoe. Hello. Okay, Zoe, we're going to play a game with you.
Okay.
Baco, explain the game.
The game is called Moose, Meese, and Meissen. Basically, you're going to guess the plural of the word. And yeah.
You guess the plural of the word, right? So if there's one moose, it's a moose. If there's many moose, is it moose, meese, or moosin?
Oh, is that the question?
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, the answer, Jacob, you come here and help.
I don't know what it is, but I'm just going to tell her because I'm smarter than her.
Oh my.
I'm pretty sure.
No. Okay. Well, Zoe, the answer is moose.
Oh, really?
If it's one moose or multiple moose, it's always moose. That's the plural. Okay. So that's how the game works. Baco, let's give Zoe the plurals.
All right. We got sphinx.
Sphinges.
Sphinges, sphinxes, or sphinct.
Sphinx.
Sphinx.
Are you gonna go sphinxes or sphinges?
Sphinges.
Sphinges.
All right.
Let's
Let's
see
see
it.
the answer. Sphinges.
All right,
Wow.
Zoe, you're so smart. All right, Zoe, you're smart. Okay, you're 1 for 1 now, unlike
One for
real
one.
questions.
All
okay?
right.
You're 1 for 1. Let's go. Let's
Ready?
go with the next one.
Okay.
We got biceps.
Is it biceps, bicepses, or biceps?
Biceps.
Biceps is your final answer. You are wrong. Bicepses.
It's bicepses. This one threw me for a loop as well. You have a bicep or bicepses. Bicepses. This is weird.
I can't do vocab, so
All right.
it's all right.
Next round, we got niece and nephew. We got nieces, nibbles, nibblings actually, and then Oh man, Brian, you got that one?
Nepheses.
Nepheses.
Is it nephews, nibblings, or nepheses?
Nibblings.
Nibblings? You are correct.
Nailed it! Okay, Zoe, I don't know if you know this or not, but my claim to fame with bad spelling, bad vocab, first grade vocab, I spelt the word of wrong. That's my claim to fame. So you're doing great. No, I spelt it O-V-E, of, like love.
Oh, that makes
They
sense,
sound,
right?
So of is O-V-E. I spelt it, that's incorrect. So,
Not
you're,
oaf.
you're 2 for 3 so far, Zoe. You're doing great. Let's go to the next one.
I already
All
know
right.
what it is.
We got
Octopi.
octopus. Then you say octopi.
Yep.
What? Octopi.
I learned that from
Pets?
That is so crazy. It's what is it? Octopedes. Octopedes, if you have multiple octopus, it is octopedes.
Always thought it was octopi.
Isn't octopi a one octopus?
Oh my gosh, yes it is.
I have no idea. I don't
I'm
know.
not
Again,
sure.
this one threw me for a loop. This was a bizarre one.
It's all right.
You're doing good. You're 2 for 2. 500. Let's see how we go.
All right, we got the next word, pyrus.
What even is that?
Prius. Like the
sorry.
car, a Prius.
Oh.
So
Yeah.
one Prius, multiple is either Priuses, Priapedes, or Prii.
Prii. No. That's not right. Priapedes.
Priapedes. The correct answer is Prii.
Prii, Zoe, you should have stayed with your first guess. Oh my. Okay, let's go. One. We got two
we
more.
got two more.
Okay, we got 2 more. Okay, you got this. You got this.
Okay, I'm
Okay,
ready,
the
guys.
word is hippopotamus.
Hippopotamus.
Hippopotamuses.
Okay, hold on. Hippopotami, hippomedes, or hippopotamuses.
Hippopotamuses.
All right. Hippopotami.
Hippopotami.
Oh my goodness.
Oh my, this is bizarre. This is ridiculous. Okay, let's get one final one.
I think this one's simple.
Last one.
We got axe.
Axe. So is it axipeds, axi, or axes? Axes.
Oh my gosh, I heard axes. I thought of math. Okay, it's axi. Axii.
Axi? All right.
Oh,
Axes. This is simple.
axes.
With an ass.
Oh, Zoe, thank you for playing Moose
Zoe.
Meese Moosin. You done great. Is there any final thing you'd like to say to our online viewers?
Vocab is not my strong. Sorry.
Point proven. Nicely done. Thank you, Zoe. We are going to get to the stage, and we'll see you guys in just a couple seconds. Hello, everybody.
Welcome to AWOL.
Yeah, grab the flow on the back there. You can show what's up. Hello, So, welcome everybody to Redeemer Youth. We are so pumped that you're here. If you're new here, my name is Brian.
My name is Baco.
We are pumped that you're here. You guys, if you're in here in person, come grab a seat. If you're watching online, what is up? If you're watching online, we would love if you wrote your name down in the comments. Let us know that you're here. Engage with us as much as you would like. We'd love to hear from you and talk with you and check in and connect with you there. Now, Baco, we do have just one quick headline, one kind of exciting announcement that some of you are aware of. If you're watching online, you're probably aware of this, but we have Redeemer Youth. We've got a number of social media accounts that if you want to connect with us once a week, great, meet us right here. If you want to connect with us all week long, and if you'd allow us to connect with you all week long, you can follow us on Instagram or you can follow us on Snapchat. We're in both places. We'd love to engage with you guys, connect with you. We're posting stuff all the time just to keep you connected here, but we're also trying to set up, communicate over messaging that way as well, group chats and all that kind of stuff. So follow us and stay connected with us. We'd love to connect with you that way as well. Comment, engage all week long. Faith is not a one-day-a-week thing or 1 hour a week thing. So why are we trying to make that happen, okay? Let's connect all week long. Also, something new that we just started last week, too, for those of you who have Spotify. We actually have a Spotify account. We've got a number of playlists there. A new one that we just created is a playlist of all of the Redeemer Youth worship songs that we have played from the stage this year. So if you have really connected through worship and you want to do that more often, go check out our Spotify playlist, and you can connect with us that way. Cool. All right. Baco, I think it's game time.
All right.
You guys ready for a game?
I am.
Let's do a game. Okay. This game is going to be pretty simple. You guys don't have to get up. You don't have to move. If you're watching online, this is your chance to connect in the chat and write down your answers and guess before anybody else can guess. Because we are going to play a game called Poorly Explained Movies, all right? Poorly Explained Movies. How this is going to work, Baco is going to read a really poorly explained movie line, all right? So he will describe the movie to you really, really poorly. And you have to try to guess the movie that he is trying to explain. Does that make sense? So as soon as Baco reads it, you need to shout out your answers and try to guess the movie that Baco is explaining. If you're engaging with us online, this is your chance to type down what you think Baco is trying to get at with the movie. All right, so Baco, why don't you start us off with our first movie?
All right, our first movie.
You guys ready?
Is about
all right, here we go.
A skinny kid taking steroids, fighting Nazis with a frisbee.
Captain America! Yes, that was so fast. Nicely done. All right. Oh boy, skinny kid takes steroids and fights Nazis with a frisbee. Captain America. All right, go to the next one.
All right, second one. A guy spends a day telling people stories related to chocolate.
Forrest Gump! Nailed
yes.
it! Oh, that was so fast. Okay, you guys are 2 for 2 with getting these really fast. This is teamwork right now.
All right, third one. A farmer has to save the earth, but ends up in a different dimension.
Not Jumanji. No, not Transformer. Read it again.
A farmer has to save the earth, but ends up in a different dimension.
This one is so hard. What? Not Guardians of the Galaxy. That's a good guess, though. That's a real good one. All right, any final answers? Chicken Little, not Chicken Little. What is it?
Interstellar.
Kyle Thompson would be disappointed. Shout out to Kyle Thompson. That's all right, though. All right, give us our next poorly explained movie, Baco.
All right. A dude teams up with a bunch of the same dudes to fight a big fat bald dude.
Not Avengers. Does not Despicable Me. What? Spaceballs? Space Jam? Fref. The mask thing does not help for shouting answers out. And not Endgame. Okay, read it one more time.
A dude teams up with a bunch of the same dudes to fight a big fat bald dude.
A random Adam Sandler movie. No. This was another really hard one. These are like back-to-back really hard ones.
Yeah.
What? Into the
Yes,
Spider-Verse! Yes! Spider-Man into the Spider-Verse. Nicely done. Oh. That was so good. That was so good. All right, let's go to the next one.
All right.
This is a good one. This is a good one.
Local law enforcement dealing with high-tech new replacement. Local law enforcement dealing with high-tech new replacement.
Not RoboCop. What? Not iRobot. Not Inspector Gadget. Not B-movie, although you're close. What? Not A Bug's Life.
Yeah, Toy Story.
Toy Story!
Yes, got that.
Local law enforcement has, what is it, dealing with high-tech new replacement. Toy Story! Oh, poorly explained. Okay, we got a couple more of these. This is the best. The poorly explained movies.
All right, the next one. Man uses insects to break into places. Yes.
Ant-Man. Nailed it. That was an easy one. That was a quick one. That was a good one. All right.
Everything in this movie would be annoying to step on.
Lego Movie. I heard it. Nice.
Okay, next one. Girl befriends a
Ooh, this is a good one. Shh.
All right.
Ready?
Girl befriends a shapeshifter so she can put a rock back and save her village, but then leaves her village anyways.
It was Moana. Okay, hold on. Did you guys catch the last part? She does all this stuff to put a rock back, but then leaves her village anyways. I love this so much. Okay, let's do a couple more. Last ones. Let's do two more.
Two more?
Two more? Let's do two more.
Okay, we'll do that one.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh,
Toe.
I don't know how this one is spelled out. Toe. I don't know if that's two or toe. Go to you do these other two. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Go for it.
All right. Two workers make a mistake that includes worldwide terror, but ends up solving its problems.
Good guess. No, not good. Not Men in Black. Not Dumb and Dumber.
Two workers make a mistake that
induces.
Okay.
Two workers make a mistake that induces worldwide terror, but ends up solving its problems. Not Jurassic Park, although that's a good one. Cheaper by the dozen, not Cheaper by the Dozen. The Interview, not The Interview. Great movie, he says. This is a hard one. What is it?
It involves a door.
Does involve Monsters
Yeah,
Inc. Yes, a couple of you got it. Nicely done. Okay, let's do one more. Last one. Last poorly explained movie.
Oh, yeah.
Which one do you want? Okay,
10.
Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah. A hairy man kidnaps a kid and enrolls him into. Yeah.
You didn't even have to finish it. Hairy man kidnaps a kid. Harry Potter. You guys know. Okay, that's unfortunate that's how you know Harry Potter. Oh my goodness. All right, this game was so stupid. Thank you for playing that game. It was unbelievable. All right, we now have a little bit of a treat for you. I'm going to invite our guest up to the stage, and I will let her introduce herself. Yeah, you can grab that microphone. Come on up. Yeah.
Hi, I'm Megan, and this is my life.
Yeah! Woo! All right. Megan, welcome to the stage. You are going to share your life with us. You and I were chatting a little bit, a week ago, 2 weeks ago now, and you've got a really cool God story that you're going to share with us. But before we get there, all right, let's back up a little bit.
Okay.
Let's back up. How, in the past few months, since like COVID hit and all the craziness, how has your life been going, and how's God been moving in your life?
Well, to be honest, God has been very, very distant. I've had a lot of unhealthy, toxic relationships come back into my life. I feel like I'm talking really loud. Occurring in my life, showing up out of the blue. And I've kind of been like trying to connect with God, like worshiping him and like reading the Bible and like talking to him, but it's just like he's just not there. Like he's like very far away. Like I can hear him, but like I can't. So yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I know for me, that's definitely something I can absolutely relate to, and not just in COVID season, right? But in a lot of things of like, where are you, God? Right? Like there's moments in your life where you're like, I feel like God is like my best friend. He's so close. He's always talking. I'm like, connecting with, and then there's seasons where it's like, God, what are you doing? Like, where are you? Like, I got nothing.
Like, hey, I kind of need you right now. You should come back.
Right? I feel like a lot of us, for that, like, especially just since COVID has hit, that's, it's really easy you get so busy taking care of so many other things that you kind of put God on the back burner. So what happened for you that helped you kind of reconnect to God, or like you felt like you maybe started hearing from God again?
Well, it was actually the first message in this series. I think it was People Are Not Your Enemy. Is that what it was called? I came to church that day. I was not in a good mood. I was like, I'm going to come because I need to connect with God, and I'm just not in a good mood. It was really why I came. That's not important. Anyways, so I came, and I was sitting here listening to this message, and for some reason, it just hit me. I was very, like, in a daze almost, like, oh, like, I'm here, and I'm listening to what you're saying, but, like, I'm also just kind of, like, sitting here. And so everything that was being said, I was like, yes, of course, I get that. And the concept, love your enemy, came up. And for some reason, I could not wrap my mind around the concept of that. Because in my mind, that was love people you don't like. And I was like, when I don't like somebody, I'm very bitter towards them. I'm very like, I don't like you. So how am I supposed to love someone that's like, I don't like? Because if I don't like you, you cause me pain in some way. So it's like, why would I want to love you if like you cause me so much pain? And so after that message, that was the only thing I could think about. Like, I couldn't do anything else because my mind was just on that concept. And I was like, I don't get it. Like, God, what does that mean? Like, love your enemy? I didn't get it. And after that, God, like that message, like that phrase just showed up everywhere. Like on the radio. I don't listen to the radio often, but when I did, it came up. Podcasts, music, random people were just saying this to me, and I was like, I don't even know you. Like, why are you saying this to me? And eventually I kind of realized, hey, God, like, this is probably you. Like, you're probably saying something to me right now. So I was like, okay, well, like, if this is you, if you are trying to communicate something with me, then just show up one more time. Like, just, if I hear this message, this phrase, love your enemy, one more time, I'll know it's you, because I'm stubborn and was like, this isn't you. So one day, I was in my history class, and I was studying for my science test, actually. But I was sitting there, and my teacher brought up this phrase. And I was like, you're kidding me. Like, what are the odds? This has nothing to do with what we're talking about. Why are you saying this? But she brought up this message and this phrase, and the whole class was debating about what it meant. And then at the end of class, she was like, I need you to decide what this phrase means to you. What does love your enemy mean to you? And I was very angry. I was like, but I don't know what it means for me. Like, I've heard this for like a week now, straight, every day, and I don't get it. And so I was like, God, what does this mean? Like, I know this is you now because I prayed, and then you showed up again. So what does this mean? Later that day, I was at work. I was on my break. Typically, I just like sit on my break. I don't really do anything. But today, I was like, I'm going to go listen to worship music. I'm going to be a good Christian kid, and I'm going to listen to music, and I'm going to worship God, and I'm going to just connect. And so I was in my car listening to music, and all of a sudden, it just hit me. I was like, love your enemy. Because before, I thought that meant you don't like somebody, so they're your enemy. And then you have to love them because you don't like them. And I was like, that doesn't make any sense. But for me, I kind of realized that that didn't mean like love who you hate. It just meant like forgive. Like for me, I realized that I had so many toxic people in my life, so many people who came back, and I was like, why are these people coming back? I don't like you. You hurt me so much. Like you caused me so much pain, and now you're back. I don't know what to do. And for me, I just felt like God was just like, Megan, you don't have to love them. You don't have to be best friends with them. You don't have to like bring them to like the apple orchard. Like just forgive them. Like this, like it was causing so much pain in my life and like a lot of confusion, and I was just in so much like denial and in this state of pain. And I just felt like love your enemy. God was just saying, forgive, like just forgive what they've done to you. Not like forget, but forgive. If that makes sense.
Totally. So it was like, for you, it was God just, clearly he was trying to get you to a place of forgiveness. And so, like most of us who are super stubborn, it's like you got to repeat yourself over and over and over and give it from all these different things. And so finally it got to the point where you're like, no, what God is calling me to do is to forgive. So, that wasn't too long ago. That was like 3 weeks ago now. Where are you at in that process of forgiveness? Like, what has God been showing you? Like, tell us about where you've been in that journey so far and where you're at now.
Well, forgiveness is not easy. A very wise person once told me to forgive does not mean to forget. And before this, I thought if I forgave somebody, I had to forget everything they've ever done to me. And that's why I didn't want to forgive them, because I was like, no, but you hurt me so bad. Like, I don't want to forget what you did. But forgiveness is a long, hard, complicated process. I wish it wasn't that hard, because life would be so much easier if I could just be like, you hurt me, I forgive you, okay. But it's been hard. But I found myself a lot calmer, at a lot more peace, because before it was like I had so much pain that I was just like, I didn't know what to do with it. And I looked at these people and was like, I want to push you in a river, I want to like lock you in a closet, like I don't want to talk to you. But I'm now looking at these people and I'm like, okay, let's just, like, I don't have to forget what you did. I don't have to pretend like you never hurt me. I just want to understand why you hurt me. I want to understand what you were going through. And so I've found myself able to just look at their perspective a lot more, because there's always two sides of every story. And I kind of realized this through this process of forgiveness, that they didn't hurt me because they woke up that day and was like, I'm going to hurt her. I'm going to cause her pain. They woke up that day. I don't know what I'm saying. One sec. Okay, so moral of the story, I found myself able to just understand their perspective a lot better and just find a lot more peace.
That's so cool. It's powerful that even from like a message that you heard here on a Sunday night, you've been coming here for years, and clearly God took advantage of this one message to say, Megan, there's something in you that I want to do. Right? And to take that and then to grow that into all of these other encounters of love your enemy, love your enemy, love your enemy. No, actually, we're going to talk about it in class at school. Clearly, God is trying to say something. But what was so cool for me in hearing your story is that I think there's so many times in my own life where, I feel like I know God's probably trying to say something, but I'm not going to take the time to actually listen. But you actually did that. No, I'm going to set time aside. I'm going to listen to worship music, and I'm going to let God speak. And he did, and that was that's so cool. And I love, what you said too about, forgiveness doesn't mean forgetting, right? Forgive and forget is kind of this old cliche that is just not true. If somebody hurt you, well, don't just immediately say, okay, great, now you can just, I trust you with my whole life again, and now you're, that's not wise, right? But forgiveness is that process of putting yourself in their shoes, kind of like what you're saying, right? To be able to empathize with where they're coming from. That's awesome. So kind of the last thought I want you to be able to share with us is, in this whole process, right? And you're still on this journey of forgiveness, and this just happened 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
What is one thing in this process, in the story of how God has been speaking to you, that you feel like you are going to take with you forever?
That sometimes the best way to heal the pain that you have and the bitterness towards other people is to just forgive them. That's a lot easier said than done, believe me. When people said this to me in the past, they're like, just forgive them, you'll have so much less pain. I'm like, yeah, but forgive them why? So just honestly, I know if you guys are thinking like, girl, forgive, like, are you kidding? You couldn't give me better advice? Trust me. Okay, it's a hard, long process and it can cause you a lot of pain, but you will feel so much happier and feel so much more peace, and the pain will be just so much less than it was before because you can forgive them. And it's just finding peace with them, finding peace with the situation, not forgetting everything they've ever done to you.
That's awesome. Megan, thank you for sharing your story with us. And what a perfect transition to talk about the reality that what Jesus gives is peace. And that is actually what tonight is all about. So let's, one more time, Megan, thank you for sharing your life with us. Let's give it up for Megan. Megan, thank you. I'll take your mic. And with that, you can put your attention back onto the screen, and we're going to go to letter 3 of our Screw Tape Letter series. Check it out.
My dear Wormwood, may I remind you of your primary assignment? Keep your patient from knowing her creator. Every scheme, every deception, every weapon you were taught was to this end. Yet, my superiors have informed me that you have failed in this, that your patient is now a Jesus follower. Our Father below is most displeased with you. You must now alter your approach. If you are incompetent to keep her from knowing her creator, then you must keep her from living into her newfound identity. She may believe she is forgiven and loved now, but that belief is still just a fleeting feeling for this young, naive Christian. Tomorrow, she will wake up to the same alarm, go through the same routines, encounter the same repulsive people, and fall asleep scrolling through the same meaningless videos. You must make it feel impossible for her to build new habits that engage her newly found faith. Yes, this is the key, for in time, she will fall back into her old habits of comparison and making enemies out of people. And as she does, you must lead her to self-doubt, to worry, to the anxiety of needing to pretend she is more holy than she really is. Blind her from this new identity she has found in her Creator. Do this long enough, my dear Wormwood, and you yet may win her back. Your wise advisor, Screwtape.
All right, how are you guys doing tonight? Pretty good. Come on, that's it. Let's get some energy going. Bring it up. Let's go. Yeah, I like that. All right, so we're continuing our series tonight of The Unknown, and if for those of you who don't know me, my name is Josh. I'm a second-year student at Bethel University. I'm studying ministry and business, and I'm also the 10th grade boys small group leader, so I don't know, I don't really see any of y'all out there right now, so. But anyways, as I said earlier, we're continuing our series tonight of The Unknown, and we've been going through and discussing what the armor of God is and how we can use this to fight against Satan and the enemy and the deception he'll throw at us. And last week, Brian talked about how putting on the belt of truth and the body armor of God's righteousness and how it's a tool for us to stop comparing ourselves to others and embrace your uniqueness and live out God's purpose for our lives. So, and this week we're continuing in Ephesians again in chapter 6, and starting at verse 15, it says, "For the shoes, put on the peace that comes from the good news, so that you will be fully prepared." So for those of you who aren't familiar with like the term good news in the church, it pretty much means like, the good news is Through Jesus' life, death, and resurrection, we have been given the gift of eternal life and many other gifts that come with that. And through his sacrifice of taking the burden of our sins for him, we get to experience the good news of Jesus. And one of those benefits, and what we're going to talk about tonight, is living in peace through Jesus. And continuing on to verse 16, it says, in addition to all of these, hold up the shield of faith to stop the fiery arrows of the devil. Now, kind of this like armor of God thing, I feel like it's super dated. Like if you're gonna pull up to a fight with a sword and a shield today, something's kind of wrong with you. So I'm kind of comparing this to like a boxing match, right? You got your gloves that are kind of your shield, right? And then you gotta have good, quick footwork in order to like dodge the punches and stuff, weave, duck, you know what I'm saying? And we're the champs, right? We got a 12-round title fight, 12 months in a year, and then Satan's the enemy, and he's trying to take that belt from us. So, like a good boxer, like I just said, we got to keep the gloves up to block the punches so we don't get knocked out by Satan. But if we put the gloves down and don't move our feet, we're going to get knocked out like the lights out like that. But anyways, and this relates to living in the good news of Jesus, because when we stop living in Jesus' good news, anxiety, worry, and self-doubt begin to take over our lives. And we need to, and if this does happen, we've got to reset our footing and put the gloves back up to return to living in peace in the good news of Jesus. Now, I know a lot of y'all had a tough quarantine, and this, like, putting the gloves down, I didn't even put the gloves down, I just put them behind my back. And I had a tough time connecting with Jesus. I just kind of put him to the side and just focused on myself, and Satan really took over. I started out the pandemic, we just got back from a trip from California with my family for spring break, and school just said that you got to go home because Corona stinks. But anyways, I told myself I was going to start, reading my Bible. That has been something I wanted to do for a while then, and continue to grow closer to God through this time, and did the complete opposite of that. I started focusing on God, and then my mentality shifted towards focusing on the things that life was throwing at me. It started, with school getting canceled, and I had to go back home, which kind of stunk. But then I also, I was working 2 jobs at the time, and both of them put me on furlough, and I was super stressed out and worried how I was going to be able to pay for school and things like that. And I slowly just went into this downward spiral and started pushing God further away out of my life. And God created me and all of us to live in peace, but during the pandemic, there was no peace in my life. So, instead of losing, let's talk about winning, eh? So, to win the fight against the enemy, there are 4 different things I'm going to talk about tonight. And the first thing I'm going to talk about is training and using the right equipment is needed to win the fight. So, any good fighter, they're not just going to show up fight night with no training or no exercise and think they're going to win this fight. The same thing goes with our faith. And in order to live in the good news, we got to actually be in the good news. So, and this means spending time with God. And like the big 3 things that I think the church emphasizes to connect with God the most is through prayer, reading your Bible, and worshiping. And with this immersion with God, it helps us learn what the truth is and what the enemy is going to tell us isn't true. And this is a super basic fundamental thing that the church says, yeah, you can do this, but in reality, it's super tough, and not a lot of people do it. Too many Christians expect to experience the benefit of deep faith without actually getting in deep and doing the basic fundamentals of faith. And our relationship with God needs to go both ways. In order for him to start investing in us, we got to invest in him too. So, again, it's very hard to do this, but what deep relationship isn't hard to? And it takes time and commitment to go. It's a grind, but in the end, it's worth it. And when you have the proper training and know what is true, you live with peace when you already know what the enemy will throw at you. And then the next point I'm going to talk about, like a lot of fighters, the best fighters in the world have a pretty good trash talking game, right? Like if you go look up Conor McGregor, that dude can talk some mad smack. But the same thing goes for the enemy, right? He can talk a lot of good trash too, and it gets to our heads. But the second point we're going to talk about is to win the fight, you need to not let the trash talk get to your head. So the enemy, like I said earlier, is super good at lying, telling us that we're not loved, we're not valued at all, and like Brian talked about last week, he said that the enemy tries to manipulate us into believing stuff that isn't true and thinking your identity is less than what it really is. And during the pandemic, those thoughts, the trash talk really got to me. Started out, like I said earlier, saying with the thoughts that, I wasn't good enough, that I'm not worth what I really am. But then it really became personal when I started to doubt my choices that I've been making with my life. With school, I go to Bethel, like I said earlier, and saying and then with my career too, going into ministry, it was like Satan was specifically saying God really chose you to go into ministry? Why would he choose you? You're a nobody, and stuff like that, and just attacking me and putting me down. And then another thing too was he came at my relationships with some of my closest friends, and during this time it was don't be hanging out with those guys. And they're all devout followers of Christ, and it was just saying, you don't need to hang out with these guys. And it was almost like a you're better than them kind of deal, which I know I'm not. But just saying to get away from these guys because they're not worth your time. Darian, I know you're looking at me right now, but love you, bro. And yeah, it was just degrading to them, but degrading to me as well, and trying to take me away from that, those relationships I built throughout the years at camp and church and AWOL. And then, the trash talk just got so bad to the point where I just did not feel Jesus at all. And I honestly was questioning my faith and didn't really know if Jesus was there, and why would I invest all this time into him if he's not going to show up? But my thoughts started to change as I started to live in the peace again. And once I stopped listening to the trash talk that came from my enemies, I started to listen to my corner. And listening to your corner, so for those who aren't familiar with martial arts or fighting in general, your corner is like your group of coaches that help guide you throughout the fight and through training to help you get better and more prepared for this fight. And the same thing is true for our walk in faith, right? We got to have a community around us to help. And this doesn't just mean Jesus we got to listen to. We got to listen to people that God has put in our life. And this specifically was found into two different groups of people for me. The first one was my parents. Just through that time, when I was thinking about, why would God choose me to go into ministry? And why am I at Bethel right now? Both my parents, my mom and my dad, just in casual conversation would bring up, what we've seen happen to you throughout the years the year at Bethel, you've grown so much, not just in your faith, but as a person and as a man. And as well as, affirming what God has told me in the past with going into ministry, that they've seen it in me and that I need to keep pursuing this. And I never brought out my struggles to them. It was God speaking through them to me through that time. And the second group, and this was the group that really changed my focus back on to living in the peace and the good news, was my close group of friends I mentioned earlier. It was the 4th of July at my house one night, and we were just talking, chilling after the fireworks at the bonfire at our place. And we were just talking, listening to music. And then I forgot who, but someone brought up faith, and we started talking about our faith. I can't remember if it was me or someone else that said, we're going through this time in the pandemic where we just haven't connected with God. And pretty much everybody there was like, yeah, me too. We just pushed him to the side, and yeah, we know he's there, but is he really though? And from that night, a fire just lit in us, and this, it triggered us to recommit not just ourselves, but our group of friends, this brotherhood we have to the faith once again. And that we started doing this weekly Bible study that's going pretty strong, and start talking about accountability and holding each other accountable throughout the weeks and doing weekly check-ins with one another to see how our faith is going. And when we live with people who are in the corner and supporting you, your faith will also live with peace. And the last point I'm going to make tonight is we're talking about trusting the process, even if it feels like you're losing. So there are going to be times in your faith walk, and when you're living with God, you may not hear him or you may not feel him at all. But we have to trust he's still working through these difficult times. In 1 Corinthians chapter 10, it talks about, it says in verse 13, The temptation in your life are no different from the one the others experience. And God is faithful. He will not allow temptation to be more than you can stand. When you are tempted, he will show you a way out so that you can endure. So what this verse is saying that, yes, God's going to tempt you beyond your ability if you walk by yourself. And if you put faith in him, he'll use this experience to help you grow closer to him and make your faith even stronger. And during the pandemic, I had two different situations with this. One before, where I wasn't walking in peace. I didn't have my faith in God, obviously, and I felt down whenever a challenge would rise, because I'd rise up, but then I'd fail, because I didn't have God by my side. And I just kept taking L after L after L, and I felt so defeated. But then once I started walking in peace again, and started to trust God's process, and live with peace that comes from the good news again, I felt like a winner once again. And even when challenges would arise, and when challenges would arise, and I'd get down every once in a while, but I wouldn't beat myself up, and I felt like I was losing like last time, because I knew God was working in me, and I wasn't down on myself because I knew those situations were making me better. So, living in the good news can be easier said than done, but when we have a great community in our corner and listen to what God has to say for us, there's no punch that even the enemy can throw at us that we can't overcome. And even when our life is out of control, there's an unexplainable peace when you know you have God who is in control, who is still working, who is still bringing about good, and who isn't giving up hope on you. So live in peace. Amen.
So I know a lot of the songs we've been doing recently have been new, and some people find it really hard to worship to songs that they can't sing along to. But I challenge you, as we continue to sing new songs and old songs, to really just find a posture of worship that is fitting to you, whether that's sitting or standing or kneeling, with your hands up or not, and really reflect on the words and see how they fit in your life. Because I know that God speaks to me a lot through worship in times that maybe I don't think he will. So yeah, even if you don't know the song, I challenge you to stand up and worship to it, whether you sing along or not.
Stay true, even when the lies come. Your word remains truth, even when my thoughts don't line up. On each promise you made, let the rest fade away. There's a peace far beyond all understanding. May it ever set my heart at ease. Dear anxiety, come. I'll remember that peace is a promise you keep. Peace is a promise you keep. You will stay true,
Jesus, we know that this is not the easiest life. God, we know that there is an enemy that throws punches, that is looking to hurt us. And yet, Jesus, even when life feels chaotic and even when we get wrapped up in the craziness around us, and even when we choose to believe some of the lies that are spoken to us or spoken over us, God, there's always hope in you. That Jesus, when we turn our attention and our life back into the reality that you are still God, that you still love us deeply, you still want the best for us, that no matter how we measure up, no matter what good we do or don't do, that we are still loved by the God of the universe. That when we can choose to stand there, there is a deep, deep well of peace that you give. And so, God, tonight, my prayer for each of us is that we would choose to just get real with the people in our corner, with the people that we can trust, that we would get real with you, God, about where we've maybe put our gloves down, maybe even put the gloves behind our back, and that you would begin to speak life and peace back into us tonight. Jesus, you are good. So we ask that you would do a good work in each of us tonight. Amen. I love tonight that both Megan and Josh were able to share with us the reality of how when COVID hit, life went crazy. And then school came, and then it just got more crazy. And how easy it is to get lost in that and let faith, let relationship with God kind of go on the back burner. I know for me, I've felt it. I'm sure many, if not all of us, have felt that as well. And my hope, my prayer for you tonight is that you would truly take a moment to reflect and say, where have you been on this journey of faith the past few months? And is there something that God wants to do in you tonight that maybe you haven't been open to for a while yet? Would you take a risk to get real with God, to get real with maybe the people in your growth group, the people in your corner, and share where you're at and listen for where God might be leading you next? Now, one of the things here at Redeemer Youth that we love is when people come into this community that don't have faith. I think that's one of the most incredible and brave things that a person can do, is to step into a place that you don't maybe believe what they believe, but you're open to being in community. And tonight, if that's you, if you are here and you are not a follower of Jesus, if you're connecting with us online and you are not a follower of Jesus, but maybe tonight there's a little thing stirring in you that maybe you want to take that first step of faith, of saying yes to Jesus. We kind of have a way to celebrate that, is that for every person who gives their life to Jesus for the very first time, we give them a light bulb and we have them put it into this light board on the side here as a declaration of saying, I belong to Jesus, because Jesus says that when you give your life to him, you become the light of the world. That when the world is dark and seems chaotic and it's hard to figure out what's true or what's not, that Jesus in you allows you to become the light of the world. And we celebrate that by giving you a light bulb. And so if that's something that you need to do tonight, is to take that step of faith, would you come find me? Would you find one of your leaders, find Josh? And we'd like to pray with you and give you a light bulb and allow you to do that. And if you're connecting with us online, put it in the comments and let us know that you're ready to take your next step of faith. And we want to connect with you as well. So with that, before we head into our growth groups, let's stand together and take our step. So I'd invite you guys to stand where you're at. If you're engaging online, stand right where you are at as well. We're going to read these words together, and we're going to take a big step forward. Because remember, we don't do this faith life alone. We do this together. We do this in community with a group of people who are in each other's corners. And this isn't something that we do once. This is something we do all the time. So let's say these words together. Each week, we take a step to signify our continuing walk with Jesus Christ. 3, 2, 1, step. Hey, have a great time in your growth groups. If you're connecting with us online, you can connect on the Zoom meeting at the bottom of your screen. We will see you in a few minutes.